Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Khan Global Studies. I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening. I'm good. How are you? Okay, so your first day. Welcome, Gaurav. So I welcome you all. I welcome you to this session. We have started this current affairs session from last day, that is from Monday, 8th of July. And since I told you in the last session also that since there were demand from so many of you that we should have some current affair discussion in English medium also. So that's why we have started this, and we have started this from Monday to Friday at this timing of 5 to 6 p.m. In these sessions, we are going to take those current affairs which are relevant from the examination purpose. We are going to see that how you can use that, how you can utilize that for the exam. Like, there is one simple thing which you have to understand. There is a lot of current affairs, there is a lot of news which is there in the Hindu or Indian Express on daily basis. Now, it's not possible to cover all the news articles there by you. You cannot cover all the news articles. But even if you are reading 4 or 5 news articles and you are covering it comprehensively, that is going to help you in the long term. UPSC is not like you have not read newspaper for one day or you have not covered all the articles, then you will not be able to clear the examination. UPSC has a simple trend. They ask those questions which are more relevant rather than the one which is out of the blue. Some questions may be there, but then majority of the questions are from those topics which are quite much common, and we have to build upon that. So keeping that in mind, we have started this current affairs series where we are trying to take 4 or 5 important news articles of the day. The one which I think that okay, it may be asked in the examination, it is relevant for you. We are trying to pick those topics. Okay. So good evening, and I welcome you all in this session. Good evening to all those who have their first day today, and let's start this. Like if we look at this, if we look at the topics which we have today, see what are the topics. First, we are going to talk about India and Russia relations. This is one thing which you have to understand. Like recently, Indian Prime Minister has visited Russia. He is still there, and a lot of talks are going on. Now, in this session, we are not talking about what is happening right now. We will take a bit of background about the India-Russia relations, that how the history has been there. What are the positives or the challenges in our India and Russia relations? Why it is significant for Russia and why it is significant for India. So this is one part which we are going to cover in this article. The second thing which we are going to talk about is High Sea Treaty. Now, this is going to be an important news article. Why it is important? Last year it was announced. Last year, majority of the country has signed this High Seas Treaty. But at that time, India has decided to stay away from it. India has not signed the High Sea Treaty last year in 2023. But this year, the government has announced that now we are going to sign this High Sea Treaty also. So this is also one of the very important news for 2025 aspirants, or even all those people who are going in the examination this year or maybe next year. Even for mains this year, this can be one of the important topic. Like right now it is the month of July, so you can expect a question about this High Sea Treaty also if they are asking it. Okay. Then classical languages. Recently government has said that they are going to tweak some rules, they are going to modify some rules related to classical languages. Right now we have got some classical languages and there is going to be modification in the rules on the basis of which some other languages can be declared as the classical languages. So we are going to see that what are the criteria for those and how many classical languages are there. We will also try to see how the classical languages are there and what are the official languages. Okay. Now, there is another thing. Like right now, if you see the today's Hindu newspaper, there is a very good article, Text and Context. There they have been talking about the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, that is BNSS, and police. That if BNSS is changing, like right now from 1st of July 2024, the new laws are there. So this new law is there, and what changes is there in the police, or what changes have been there for the police, that is what we have to see. This is something which may be asked in the prelims also, and later on we will have an analysis of this BNSS also, where it can be asked in the mains also, but not in today's session, maybe sometimes later. Yeah. So this is one aspect. Now, before we start this topic, there is a general information for you. From today itself, we are going to start this Adhyan batch for 2025 aspirants. It is a year-long program. I have told you in the previous session also. So from today, it is starting at 9 for the English batch also and for the Hindi batch also. The orientation of the Hindi batch starts today at I think 7:15 p.m. today, and for the English batch, it is going to start from 8:30 p.m. tonight. Okay. So this batch is going to start from today, the Adhyan batch, where we are going to cover the entire current affairs from January 2024 till mains 2025. Okay. So this is Adhyan batch going to start from today itself. Okay. Now, so let's see. Let's come back to our topic. We have got this India and Russia relations, and new changes are there. And this India-Russia relations, okay, Ayush, we will come to that. Ayush, we will come to that. Last day also we have talked about this, that Adhyan batches for those who are going for 25, mainly for those, but yes, if you are going for 26, you can get enrolled in it. You will get at least 8 months of current affairs which are highly relevant for you, and some other current affairs, but this is not extendable up to 2026. This is only for 25. Next year again we will have Adhyan batch which will be solely for 2026 aspirants. But yes, if you want to continue the current affairs, you can join it. Yeah. Now, we are starting with our topic, India-Russia relations. We are starting with this topic of India-Russia relations. The news is, ahead of talks with Putin, PM says will back peace in the region. So India has been saying that it will try to have peace in the region. Today, new developments are coming. India and Russia have agreed that now the Indian soldiers will not be recruited. Those who are already in Russian army, they will be sent back to India. So some new developments are coming. We will talk about that also. But the thing is, this India and Russia relations, it is again there in the limelight. This is something which is again there in the limelight. So we have to know that what are the elements of this relation. What are the elements of this relation? Now try to understand one thing. Whenever we are talking about any such relations, any such IR or any such topic, what you have to keep in mind, how you can prepare it. The first thing is, you have to know about the history. You have to know about the history of the relation. That is the first aspect you should know about it. The history of relations between the two countries. The second thing which you have to understand here, that what are the positives? What are the positives, or what are the things which are good, which are looking good in the relations, the positives of the relation. The third thing which you have to understand here is, what are the irritants? What are the irritants in the relation? What are the irritants which are there in the relation? That is also one aspect which you have to cover. The next thing is the new steps. Suppose that new steps have been taken, either to amend the relation, to change it, to give it a better turn, then we have to also know about it. And last but not the least, you should also be aware about significance of the relation. Why this relationship is important. Whenever you get any such topic about international relation between India or any other country, try to prepare these 5 dimensions. If you are preparing these 5, you will find that most of your work is done. Now you don't have to worry that whether I can answer the question in the mains or not. Okay. From the mains perspective, if you have covered these 5 dimensions, history, positives, irritants, new steps, and significance of the relation, it is more than sufficient. So this is also a sort of guideline for you, how you have to prepare the international relation topics. Yeah. So keeping that in mind, let's talk about India-Russia relations from the historical perspective. How India and Russia have been connected in the past. Yeah. See, when we talk about India and Russia, see, India and Russia have their close relations because India just stand against Korea war and support to China at UN. Okay. In the very initial times, India has supported China's membership at UN, and it has also stood against the Korean war. And from there, India and Russia came closer because Russia was also supporting this China's bid, and Russia was also this was against the Korea war and everything. So from there, our interest started to align. From there itself, our stand from the very beginning in the 1950s itself, our relations came closer, or our relationship started. But then Soviets have also favored India during the China war in 1962. This, you can say that this was the turning point. This was the turning point for India when Russia has supported India during the India-China war in 1962. Russia was in support of India. That was the time. Then at the same time, USSR mediated between India and Pakistan in Tashkent. When India and Pakistan war was there in 1965, then also USSR became the mediator. So from there also we have got this connection with Russia. Then after, we have also this this was the time of 1960s. At that time, US was not very much in favor of India. At that time, when we needed our defense modernization to cater to Pakistan as well as China, then Russia helped us. Russia has helped in the modernization of defense in India in the 1960s. At that time, US was not in favor of our defense modernization. The Western world was not in favor of India. Western world was supporting Pakistan at that time. So in those years, in those times, Russia was the one which was supporting us. Again, in 1971, India and Soviet Treaty of Peace and Friendship. In 1971, we have got this India and Russia, or India and Soviet Union Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Okay. And what was the clause of this? If India is attacked, the Soviet Union will come to help and vice versa. Okay. So from 1971 itself, we have a treaty with Russia that if India is attacked, Russia will help. If Russia is attacked, India will also be helping it. So this treaty is going on for a very long time, from the 1970s itself. This has this has made India's and Soviet Union relationship very much firm in 1971 itself. Okay. Then USSR had sided with India on the Kashmir issue and vetoed all resolution against India at United Nations Security Council. If suppose that any country is trying to make any decisions from United Nations Security Council, we have got one fixed friend in there, and that is Russia. Russia has vetoed all such actions against India in United Nations Security Council. So when we are talking about how the Indian and Russian relationships are, you have to know about the history. All those actions which could have been taken against India by the United Nations Security Council, they all have been vetoed by Russia. This shows that how much close India and Russia relationship is. No question asked, all questions vetoed. Okay. So this is part of how Russia has been helpful for India in the past. Okay. Then we have got this, even in 1998, when we have got our nuclear test, the Pokhran test, then also Russia has favored India. Even in 1998, Russia has favored India. This all gives you the glimpse of how strong India and Russia relationship has been. Okay. So if you know even 2 or 3 parts of it, like if you remember the peace treaty, if you remember the help during India-China war or India-Pakistan war, or in any of these, in 1998 Pokhran test, or the vetoes of resolutions in United Nations Security Council, you can take any 2 or 3 of them and use that in writing the introduction of the question. If they ask you any question about the India-Russia relation, and if you have to write the history, you have a lot of examples here. You have a lot of examples which you can use to write the introduction. This is part of India and Russia historical relations with exactly facts. Okay, and you can use it to write a very good introduction here. Now, this is one part. Yeah. Then, if we look further, like in the present times, what is there? What is this relation? Yeah. If we are talking about India and Russia in the present times, you will find that India and Russia are part of major agreements, whether it is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, whether it is BRICS, International North-South Transport Corridor. India is part of all these initiatives. Okay. At the same time, Russia is still the primary supplier of weapons to India. Of course, we are importing a lot of defense items from United States, Israel and all other things. But still, a major supplier of arms to India is Russia. Okay. So, this is one of the fundamental part, that despite all these trade agreements or weapon exchange between India and US or India and Australia or India and Israel or any other country, USSR, not USSR now Russia is still one of the major supplier. Okay. Then Russia has provided India with S-400 system, joint development of Kamov 226 helicopters. So one of the very fundamental elements of India's defense program, India's missile defense program, is S-400, and that system has been provided to India by whom? By Russia. Okay. We also have this BrahMos missile, one of the very important missiles of India. It is again being provided by whom? Russia. So our defense relation with Russia is still very much strong. Okay. At the same time, India has also been joining Russia in development of the Far East Asia. Okay. We have got this Act Far East policy. We have got this Act Far East policy. This is also something which was there in 2019. Okay. In the recent times, we have got this Act Far East policy for development of the eastern regions, the far eastern regions of Russia. Okay. At the same time, India has even approved the Sputnik 5 vaccine. Okay. The Sputnik 5 vaccines for deployment during the COVID times. Okay. So even in our present times, we are engaging on multiple fronts. Now, coming to the latest part, how we have been engaging here. See, when we talk about Ukraine issue, India has not sided with the Western world. The Western world has put sanctions on Russia. Western world has put sanctions on trade between Russia. But India has supported Russia, or India has been with Russia during the Ukraine war. Okay. We have been talking with Ukraine also, but we have not been cutting off our relations with Russia. Okay. So when it is Russia and Ukraine war, we have been siding with Russia also. If not in war, then at least in trade, we have been with them. The second thing is, we have been one of the major trade is growing. Trade is growing at an alarming rate. Now, I will give you the part of this trade growing. How much our trade is growing? Let me tell you. Just go a few years back. In 2020, our trade with Russia was very low. It was something around $10 billion, hardly $10 billion. It has been even like $4 or $5 billion for a very long period of time. Our trade with China was crossing $100 billion. Our trade relations with US was crossing $100 billion. But with Russia, our trade was even less than $10 billion. Even though Russia is our most favorite country, even after all of that, our trade with Russia was at a very minuscule level, at just around 10%. Sorry, at just around 10 billion. But in the present times, in the year 2023-24, our relations with Russia, our trade relations with Russia has grown, and we are having more than $60 billion now. That is the trade between India and Russia, more than $60 billion, reaching up to 61 and 65 also, reaching up to 65, you can say it's $65 billion. So this is the growth from $10 billion to $65 billion. Do you know what was our target? Our target was by 2025, we had to reach 30 billion. We have to reach 30 billion in trade. That was our aim. And at that time, it was said that it is not possible. It is not possible that we will reach $30 billion trade with Russia. And within 2 years, things have changed enormously. Now we have $65 billion trade with Russia. This again marks that our relation with Russia is not deteriorating. It has improved continuously in the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, our relations has grown at an alarming rate. Unprecedented rate, like from 10 to 65. This is unprecedented. So this is our relations with Russia. Yeah. Now see, like we also have this civil nuclear cooperation. Now see, we have civil deal with US also, we have civil deal with Canada also, with other countries also, civil nuclear deal with Japan also. But even today, if you look at the nuclear power plants in India, you will find that all such nuclear power plants has been built with cooperation from Russia. All our nuclear power plants have been built with cooperation from Russia in the present times. We have deal with US also, we have deal with Japan also, we have deal with other countries of the world. But even now, we will see that this nuclear power plants in India have been jointly developed by India and Russia. Okay. So this is one of the part. All our such parts are the 12 nuclear power plants. They have been the results of India-Russia collaboration. Okay. Then, Russia remains the only partner that is still willing to give India critical technologies. This is the part. Like the other countries, if we talk about France, if we talk about Israel, if we talk about US, they give us the weapon. If we talk about the other countries of the world, US, Israel or any other country, they just give us weapon. If we talk about Russia, they do not just give us weapon, they give us the technology also. Weapon plus technology. So it is not only the product, but also the technology which is being transferred between India and Russia. This is how India's relation with Russia is different from India's relation with the Western world. The Western world supplies us the weapon. Russia gives us the technology that make your own weapon. Like for example, if we talk about BrahMos, BrahMos is one such thing where we have started to develop BrahMos by ourselves and then we are selling it to other countries of the world. So this is the difference between India's relation with other countries and India's relation with Russia. Then Russia has also reaffirmed its unwavering support to India for a permanent seat in expanded UN Security Council. Russia says that if UN Security Council is expanded, India will get a seat. Russia has always favored it. Without any hesitation, Russia has favored it. Okay. They have also supported India's claim in nuclear supplier group. They have also said that India can become a part of nuclear supplier group from where importing the nuclear content or technology becomes easier. Okay. So this is again a part of it. Russia also backs India on Kashmir issue. No doubt, no question asked. Russia says Kashmir is an internal part of India. No question asked, nothing about it. Okay. So this is where India and Russia stand. About economic cooperation, I have already told you that our trade with Russia has grown to $65.7 billion in 2023-24. So this shows that our relation with Russia has once again been reaffirmed and is growing at a good rate. Okay. But given all these things, there are some challenges. There are some irritants also which we cannot deny. What are those irritants? What are those irritants? India is leaning westward. Okay. For Russia, this is a challenge that India is becoming a member of the Quad. US has become a major defense equipment supplier. Okay. So India is having various agreements with United States or its allies. India is leaning west on various occasions and various times. Okay. On various agreements, India is going towards the United States. So that is one of the challenge which we are facing, that Russia sees that India is leaning towards the west. And at the same time, there is a reciprocal activity by Russia also. Russia is increasing its proximity with Pakistan. Russia is also balancing it. It is like increasing its proximity with China as well as Pakistan. So that is a part. That is a challenge for us also. And for Russia, the challenge is India is leaning towards the west. Russia and China proximity is also there. India has always opposed this one belt, one road initiative of China because it passes through the occupied Kashmir. It passes through the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So India has been opposing this one belt, one road initiative. India sees it as a threat to the sovereignty of the nation. Okay. But on the other hand, Russia had joined this. Russia had joined the China's one belt, one road initiative. So this is also an irritant between India and Russia relation. At the same time, Indo-Pacific versus Asia-Pacific. Okay. Now, what Russia says that when it was Asia-Pacific, it was more about Asian centrality. It says that when it was Asia-Pacific, it was more about Asian centrality. But when its name has been changed to Indo-Pacific, now it has become US-centric instead of India-centric. It says that when it has been changed to Indo-Pacific, now it is not more like Asian centrality, it is more like US centrality. That US is deciding that let it be Indo-Pacific. US is sidelining the Asian countries, the other Asian countries. So this is one part where again Russia is not very much happy. That Indo-Pacific has US as central figure, whereas Asia-Pacific has Asian centrality. So these are some of the challenges. Now for a very long time, one of the challenge was economic cooperation was minuscule. But in the latest years, in the last 2-3 years, it has been changed. Now economic challenge is not there. Now the economic challenge is not that much there. Economy has been reviving. The trade between the countries, it has been reviving. So that challenge is sorted, but these challenges remain there. Yeah. Now, see this part. Now the next thing is the significance. Why do Russia need India? Why do Russia need India? See, it need India to bypass the Western sanctions. It need also India to act as a hedge against forthcoming transatlantic trade and investment partnership driven by US and UE. Yeah. So United States and European Union are trying to form various type of deals and other things. Now India and Russia or the Asian countries can come together and try to ensure the Asian interest also. They can also ensure the Asian interest as well. Yeah. This Russia also needs India against the sanctions of the Western countries, like recently we have seen in Ukraine crisis. Yeah. Then India is the market for defense industry of Russia. Okay. India is this market for the defense industry of Russia, so they need us also. India is also a major market of oil. Right now, during this time of Ukraine and Russia crisis, it was India which has purchased enormous amount of oil from Russia. Okay. India has purchased weapons also, India has purchased oil also. Out of the $65 billion, you will find that nearly $61 billion is the import. This $61 billion, this is our import. We are exporting very less to Russia. We are exporting very less to Russia. We are importing in huge amount. Like the oil, which is one of the major factor. We have imported huge amount of oil from there. We have imported huge amount of weapons from there. Okay. We have also got too many pharmaceutical things also from there. So this is one of the part where we are important for Russia. Their economy needs a market and India is that market. Okay. Then India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world, and this can alleviate Russia's economic problems. Russia is also going through this economic crisis. So Russia needs a market, Russia needs a country which can invest in Russia. India has also been investing in Russia. India has also been a market for Russia. So all these things are needed by Russia. That is the significance. But at the same time, India also needs Russia. India is also needing Russia. Where do we need them? We need them to secure the energy supply at cost effective price. If we need the crude oil at a lower rate, we will need Russia. If we need the cutting edge defense technology, okay, if we need the technology, then we have to rely on Russia. If we also need a market for Indian pharmaceuticals, manufactured goods or dairy products, we again need Russia. At the same time, Russian veto at UN matters. Whenever there is any challenge for us in United Nations Security Council, we know that there is one country which will support us. No matter what, there is one country which is going to support us, and that is Russia. Okay. For other countries, like for France, we may have to see how our relations is there. For US, it is like who is the president there. For UK also, it is changing. China, we know we cannot adjust with China. But Russia is one country in the United Nations Security Council that can give us a guarantee that yes, if there is any matter against India, they will veto that decision. Okay. So that is the part of Russia. Okay. Then, right now we see that Russia and China are growing closer. If we want to if we want to improve our relation with China, or if we want to counter China also, if we want to manage China also, we again need the help of Russia. Russia can help us to even counter China. Russia can help us to even coordinate with China. Russia can also help us to manage China. Okay. In all these aspects, Russia can help us. Okay. So that is the significance of India and Russia relations in the present times, from history to the significance. I hope you have got it. I hope you have got it, how you can read about India-Russia relation. I hope this, now I think you will have clarity. Now I think you will have clarity over this, that how you can read this India and Russia relations. Okay. So this is one part where you have to see that how we can cover a topic. Yeah. Now this is the first part. This was the first thing. You have a question also here. You have a question also which you can try to practice. The question is, in the present geopolitical situation, discuss about the elements of India-Russia relations. Do you think that a good relation with Russia is as important as good relations with US? Justify. Okay. So this is one of the questions which I have put here. It is about India and Russia relation. You can try to write about it. You can try to write about this essay. Write about this question. Okay. So this is the first part. This is the first article which we have covered in detail. Now, coming to the second article. The second article is India is going to sign the High Sea Treaties. So there is this High Sea Treaty. Now, can you tell me what is High Sea? Can you tell me this part? What is High Sea? Can you tell me what is this high sea? What is high sea? Above 200 nautical mile. Okay. There is one answer from Shantanu that it is above. Beyond, rather than writing above, you can say beyond 200 nautical miles. After 200 nautical mile area of sea from coastline. Okay, that's great. So see, basically the thing is high sea treaty. We have got a high sea treaty in 2023 itself. It was signed there in 2023 itself. So we have got this treaty in 2023. At that time, India has not joined this high sea treaty. So the thing is, across the world, why we have got this high sea treaty? First of all, we have to understand that what is the relevance of this. We have all, this is not like about regulating how the ships will be navigating or other things. This is more than that. It is not about the territorial waters or other things. Generally what happens that up to 200 nautical miles, there is somewhat control of the countries which are near this. Like suppose if India is there, so up to 200 nautical miles we have got some sort of control. The biodiversity in this area is also being like regulated, it is being monitored, it is being conserved. Okay. So if there is an area, where we have this where we have this territorial water or even the exclusive economic zone, we can try to preserve the biodiversity there. But then the remaining part of the sea, the remaining part of the ocean, it is not under the control or it is not under the responsibility of any country. It is not either under the control or the responsibility of any country. So now what is happening? The biodiversity in the middle of the oceans or the sea, they are not being looked after. It is being ignored. And keeping that in mind, we have got this high sea treaties. Okay. So keeping that in mind, we have got this high sea treaties. Okay. So it was adopted by Intergovernmental Conference on Marine Diversity of Areas Beyond National Jurisdiction. Okay. Biodiversity of area beyond national jurisdiction. So this was the Intergovernmental Conference on Marine Biodiversity of Areas Beyond National Jurisdiction, which has led to signing of this treaty. It was signed in June 2023. It was signed in June 2023. Okay. Basically, like this is not like in one just year it was decided. There have been discussion about this treaty for almost 20 years. There have been discussion about this treaty for almost 20 years, but it was not getting finalized. But finally in 2023, it was finalized. What is the aim of this treaty? It is aimed at protecting the oceans in line with the Convention on Law of the Sea. Okay. So the aim is very much simple. What is the aim of it? The aim is protecting the sea. The aim is protecting the high sea. Protecting the high sea. That is the aim. That is the aim. Protecting the high sea, the oceans beyond the territorial claims. Okay. So that is one of the objective. Okay. Now see what it is doing. It is having 75 articles which are talking about protecting, caring for and ensuring the responsible use of the marine environment, maintaining the integrity of the ocean ecosystem and conserving the value of marine biological diversity. So it is all about marine biodiversity. It is all about the marine biodiversity. That is the main part. It is all about marine biodiversity. It is all about marine biodiversity. Okay. When this was being discussed, there was a lot of discussion that in the future we will have marine biosphere reserves. Like right now we have got some biosphere reserves in the territorial areas, like India has got 18 biosphere reserves. So in similar manner, it was said that when we have got this high sea treaty, now in the future we can have establishment of marine biodiversity parks. Marine biodiversity parks can be established in the middle of the oceans, where the conservation of various type of species will be done. So this is one of the part of high sea treaty. At the same time, see, this is going to be a legally binding treaty. This is going to be a legally binding treaty. Okay. Now, see, majority of countries have signed it, but some of the major countries like China, Russia, India, they have not signed it. Major other countries have signed it, but India, China, Russia, they have not signed it for a very long period of time. Now, India has announced that it is going to sign this high sea treaties. Okay. See, 60 countries have to ratify it. You know the difference between signing and ratifying? What is the difference between signing a treaty and ratifying the treaty? Can you tell me what is the difference between signing and ratifying? I will come to this nautical mile. Nidhi, I will come to this part about the nautical mile. I will come there. I will show you the image. Do you know what is the difference between signing a treaty or ratifying the treaty? What is the difference there? What is the difference between signing a treaty and ratifying a treaty? Ratifying is reform. No. See, signing means just signing the treaty. Signing here means simply that suppose some treaty is there, so when we are signing it, that is simply signing. Ratifying means that we approve it in the national parliament. Okay. Like suppose that when we have signed a treaty, it is not directly implemented. You have to ratify it first. Means you have to approve it, you have to get it approved by the parliament of the country. So suppose that when we sign this high sea treaty, it will be like passed by our parliament also, that okay, we confirm that we are now party to the high sea treaty. So ratifying means giving it the assent in the by the government of the country, giving it assent by the parliament of the country, that now we are legally part of this. We are legally part of this and we will abide by its rule. Okay. So simply signing is not sufficient. It's like suppose our prime minister went somewhere and they signed a treaty. So signing it doesn't mean that now it is enforced. It has to be ratified by the parliament and then it has to be passed by the parliament, and that is what we call as ratification. Okay. So it has to be ratified by 60 countries before coming into force. Okay. So means in 60 countries when it is passed by the parliament, then it will become effective. Then it will come into force. Okay. Yes. Rectifying is to come into force. Yes, ratifying means to confirm. Good. So this is one part where we are ratifying it. Okay. Now, just see a bit about high sea. The high seas are making up more than half of the surface of Earth, but 65 and 61% of all oceans, but only 1% of them are under protection. Means larger portion of the high sea is not protected. That is what I was telling you, that the territorial water is somewhat protected, but the high sea is having no such protection. Okay. So this treaty is going to help in conservation and all other part. Okay. Now see the next part about it, that what actually is our high sea. See, if we look at this, you can understand it by this image. This is the area. I will have to change the pen color here. This is the area. This area is called as Territorial Sea. This is called as territorial sea. Means in this area the country have their exclusive claim. This area is called as the territorial water. Here the countries have their exclusive claim. In this area no one can enter without the permission. This is like the boundary of the country, and it extends up to 12 nautical miles. It extends up to 12 nautical miles. Okay. And from there around up to 200 nautical miles, from the coast to up to 200 nautical miles, here up to 200 nautical miles, this is called as the exclusive economic zone. This area is called as exclusive economic zone. In this region there is no such sovereignty claim, but again economic resources and this resource can be part of the country. This resource in this area can be part of the country. They can go for exploration in this area, but navigation is allowed. Navigation is allowed even in this area, but with permission. Here you cannot have military movement. In the territorial sea, no military can enter without the permission. Suppose that if any military ship is entering in this territorial sea, that will be called as a war. Just say, for example, if anyone is taking their tank and coming into the land boundary of India, that will be called as a war. In the similar manner, if any country is trying to enter the territorial sea of any country without the permission, then it will be called as a war. Okay. So in this territorial sea, no one can enter. That will be a direct declaration of war. Okay. In this area, there is innocent passage, but again if militaries are reaching in this area, they will have to conform with the countries. Okay. Beyond this, the area beyond the 200 nautical mile, beyond 200 nautical mile. Nautical mile is the measurement of the distance in the sea. In the sea, it is measured by nautical miles. Okay. So here, beyond the 200 nautical mile, the area is called as high sea. The area is called as high sea. So this treaty is about all the area beyond this 200 nautical mile. This is where the high sea treaty will come into picture. Okay. I hope that is clear now, that what is high sea. I hope it is clear now that what is the high sea. Is it clear what is high sea? Okay. So this is the part of high sea where the law is now there. Okay. And India is trying to become a part of this high sea treaty. Okay. So remember three things here. First of all, what is high sea treaty? High sea treaty is a treaty for conservation of biodiversity in the high sea region. Yeah. It will need 60 members to ratify this treaty to make it enforceable. India has announced that it is going to join the high sea. What is high sea? High sea is the area beyond the 200 nautical miles. Yeah. So this is what you have to know about the high sea treaty. Now, coming to the next portion. Now we have this again. There was a news in the Hindu, and it says that center set to tweak criteria for according classical language status. Okay. So how many classical languages are there in India? How many classical languages? How many classical languages we have? Anyone? Can you tell me how many classical languages we have? 8, 10, 6. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so some people are saying, देखो, this is where you get confused between classical languages and official language. Okay, classical languages and official languages are two different things. India has got 6 different classical languages. India has got 6 different classical languages. So what is this classical language? Classical language is basically a language which have a distinct literary heritage and extensive collection of ancient written literature. Classical language is such a language which has huge history of more than 1500 to 2000 years. A language which has history of more than 1500 to 2000 years, but also have ancient written literature. Okay. And see, we have got 6 classical languages in India. Like, let me show you first the classical languages of India. We have got 6 classical languages: Tamil, then we have Sanskrit, we have Kannada, we have Telugu, Malayalam, and Odia. So we have got 6 classical languages. Now the thing is, all these classical languages are also part of official language. Okay, they are also part of official language. How many official languages are there in India? How many official languages are there? How many official languages are there? 22. Okay. So we have got 22 official languages, but classical languages are 6 in number. So this is one part which you have to remember. What is the guideline? Like, when a language can be classified as a classical language? Right now the criteria is high antiquity of its early text, recorded history of a period over 15 to 2000 years. Okay. Means it must have been in existence for more than 1500 to 2000 years. Okay. That is the first part. A body of ancient literature or text which is considered a valuable heritage by generation of speakers. Like, suppose that if we talk about the Sangam literature, now you know that it is there in the Tamil language and it is one of the heritage. If we talk about the Vedas, they are written in Sanskrit language and that is also considered as a heritage. So it should have some text which are considered as a heritage. The third thing is, the literary traditions be original and not borrowed from another speech community. It cannot be simply like translation of a book. Rather than that, it should be an original text. Like, suppose that if someone has translated the Vedas in other language and they claim that it is historical, that will not be granted classical language status, because it must have something of its own, some of those texts which are original and which is not borrowed from other things. Okay. So the literary tradition must be original and not borrowed from another speech community. The classical language and literature being distinct from modern, there may also be a discontinuity between the classical language and its later form or its offshoot. Okay. So there is this part, there may be some of the changes. For example, if we see Sanskrit of that time is different from Sanskrit of the present time. Sanskrit of the time of the Vedas, they are quite different from what Sanskrit is there in the present times. So this is one thing which is allowed, that maybe its original form may be different from its the present form. Okay. So if these criteria are met, then an official language is declared. What is the benefit? Why to have this official language? Why we are going to, or why people are asking for this classical language? Why people are asking for it? Is there any benefit? Is there any benefit of this? The benefit is 2 major international awards are given each year to outstanding scholar of ancient Indian languages. Okay. So suppose that if there is a classical language, now there will be 2 international awards which will given every year. So that language can grow, that language will have some benefit. The scholars from that language are going to get some recognition. So that is the first benefit. The second thing is, the UGC is asked to establish many professional chairs for classical language at central universities. In the central universities, there will be some scope for these languages. In central universities, there is going to be some scope for these languages as well. And the third thing is a center of excellence for classical language studies that will also be established. Okay. So overall, if a language is given the status of a classical language, it will help that language to grow. It will help that language to flourish. It will help that language to proliferate quite easily. Okay. So that is the advantage. That is the advantage of being declared as a classical language. Now there is demand from many such languages, like there is demand for giving the classical language status to Marathi, to Maithili, okay, and to many such other languages also. To many such other languages also, there is a continuous demand that they should be given this status of classical language. For more than 1 decade, there is a demand for declaring the Marathi language as a classical language. Okay. So now this now the government has decided that okay, they are going to do some change in the classical language. So if there is some change which is announced by the government, we will again revisit this topic to see that what changes has been introduced. Okay. So I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. What is the difference between classical language and official language? I hope it is clear. Yes. Okay. Now just one more question for you. If we see the Constitution of India, the official languages, they are included in which schedule? The official language are included in which schedule of Indian Constitution? There are 22 official languages. Virendra, there are 22 official languages. You don't have to remember those 22 names. But there are 6 classical languages. 6 is a smaller number. So you have to remember them. But you don't have to remember what are the all official language. If some new language is added as official language, then you have to remember that. Otherwise, it is not required. Okay. So yes, it is there in 8th schedule of Indian Constitution. Okay. So I hope you remember all the schedules of the Indian Constitution. I hope you remember them. All the other schedules, I hope you are aware of them. Yes, it is 8. Correct. So see, this is one part. This is one part, like you can see, territory is there, emolument is there. These are the 12 schedules of Indian Constitution. You can remember them by tiers of old PM. Okay. Territory, emolument, suffirmation, Rajya Sabha, scheduled area and tribes, other tribal areas, federalism, official language, legislations, defection, panchayat, municipalities. Okay. So they are the 12 schedules of Indian Constitution. You can have simply one acronym for them. Tiers of old PM. Tiers of old PM. Using that, you can remember all the schedules of Indian Constitution. There are 12 schedules. You can see this one is about territory. The second is about the salary. The third is about oath and affirmation. The fourth is about Rajya Sabha seat allocation. Fifth is about scheduled tribes or scheduled areas. Sixth is again about other tribal areas. Seventh is related to the lists which are there, like concurrent list, union list, or state list. And the 8th is official language. Then we have legislations for immunity, the 9th schedule. Okay. Defection, panchayat, and municipality. Okay. So these are the 12 schedules of Indian Constitution. I hope that remains clear for you. Okay. Now, if you allow, can we discuss one more topic? Although it is 1 hour, but can we discuss it in 5 to 10 minutes? If you agree, can we discuss it? Okay, so we have one more topic here, new provisions for the police officers. Now you know that three different laws have been enforced from 1st of July 2024. And keeping that in mind, we have got some new provisions. These provisions will remain relevant for the upcoming examinations. Anything about that can be asked in the examination. So let us see some of the dimensions, not all, but some of the common dimensions of it which have been highlighted in the news article. Okay. The first dimension is about registering the FIR. Okay. Now earlier, you might be aware that there was a concept called a zero FIR. Okay. Zero FIR. So how does this work? Normally, suppose that if there is a police station, then it is given an area. A police station is having a defined area. Okay. If anything is occurring within this area, the police station has to file an FIR. Now suppose that an incident has taken place outside this area of the police station, outside the territorial ambit of this police station. They are not going to register the case. Now they will ask the person to go to the different police station. This was the case earlier. But in some cases, there was provision of zero FIR. But suppose there is a case against women, there is a crime against women like rape crimes or crimes under POCSO Act. Then in those cases, there was provision for zero FIR. That FIR can be lodged at any place, FIR can be lodged at any of the police station, and then it can be transferred here to this police station. Okay. So suppose that there are two police stations, PS1 and PS2. Now the crime has taken place here, but the person has reported in PS2. If it was a crime against women, then the police officer had to register the FIR, and then they were supposed to transfer it back to the PS1. Okay. So they could not have denied in case of crime against women, like if there is a rape or anything like that. So they have to mandatorily register the case. Now it was only for some grievous offenses. It was only for some of those grave incidents or grave crime. Now this has been made general. Suppose that if there is any crime, the person can go to any of the police station and then they can register the case. Then they can ask for the FIR. Okay. They can give the information to the police. The police have to mandatorily file the case now. They cannot say that it is not our ambit. They have to file the case under zero FIR provision and then they have to transfer it back to the original. Earlier it was only for some crime, now it is for all the crimes. So this is one of the major change under this BNSS, that is Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, that is the name of BNSS. Okay. So under this BNSS, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, FIR filing is now compulsory. If any police personnel, if they are denying to file FIR just because they say that this is not our area, now there will be actions against them. There can be penal action against those police officers. So this is first part. You have to now mandatorily file the FIR. That is the first change. Okay. So he is now legally bound to do this. Okay. FIR can also be filed through electronic means. Okay. So earlier this was that you cannot file a FIR through electronic means. But now it has been said that there is a possibility, if a person is not there at a police station, they can have a electronic FIR also. They can have electronic FIR also, means through email or through other things. Of course, official email ID and all other things will be given. It is not that you can just WhatsApp your information and say file the FIR. There will be official email IDs and everything. Using that, you can file a EFIR. And then there is also this provision that the person has to visit that police station within 3 days to sign it. Otherwise, it will not be valid. So EFIR can be done, but then person have to go there and sign it for validation. Okay. So this is some new provision regarding the FIR. The second provision is about videography. So suppose that if police is going anywhere for search or any other thing, then they have to mandatorily take a video recording of the processes. Okay. So they have to this videography has been mandated. Like if they are doing a search or seizure of any activity, they have to make video recording of it. Okay. At the same time, there is also a e-Sakshya. A new app has been developed. This is an important thing. There is a new app called as e-Sakshya. Okay. So this is an app through which they have to take the recordings or through which they can take the photos. Okay. It is not like you can WhatsApp or a Snapchat. Okay. You have to take it through the e-Sakshya app. It has to be geotagged, it has to be validated and uploaded. Okay. So this is one thing. Now use of technology is going to be more and more by the police officer. Okay. The third important change is arrest. Now there have been some change in arresting also. What is the change? Suppose that a person is there whose age is more than 60 years. Someone who is more than 60 years or someone who is not in good health. Someone who is not in good health, then in that case arrest may be avoided. Arrest may be avoided if such case is having punishment of less than 3 years. It is not like someone is committing murder and then you will not arrest the person. If there is an offense in which imprisonment is of less than 3 years, then arresting that person can only be done by the approval of Deputy SP. So at least a Deputy SP must confirm that okay, you have to arrest this person. So simply some constable or SI or ASI level people cannot arrest persons who are above the 60 years of age or inform people if the case involves a punishment of less than 3 years. Okay. If there is an imprisonment of less than 3 years, in those cases they cannot arrest. Okay. Second thing is, like suppose that now if they are arresting any person, earlier the challenge is police used to arrest people, but then the information was not available. They used to arrest people, keep them in jail for some days, and then after that they were informing the relatives or after that they were informing the public that this person has been arrested. Now this thing cannot be done now. There is going to be appointment of a designated police officer. A police officer will be appointed in each and every police station. If they are arresting any single person, they have to display it in a digital board. They have to display it in a digital board outside the police station that this particular person has been arrested by the police. So this is one of the mandatory rules now, that you have to declare who has been arrested. And then their relatives and the designated police officers both have to be informed about the arresting of a person. So now if the police is arresting someone, they have to mandatorily tell their relatives that this person has been arrested. You can come to this police station and you can do the further proceedings. Okay. Earlier what used to happen, the police was arresting people and for a long time there was no information. So this is going to be avoided now. Now a designated police officer would be for this same purpose. Okay. So that is also a change. Another change is about the medical examination. Okay. So earlier there was a provision, suppose that there is a crime like a rape crime is there or a rape has been committed. So earlier the medical examination used to take a longer period of time. Now the thing is, any police officer can move an application for the medical examination of the accused. Now it is not like that the SI or ASI or SP will ask for medical examination. Any police officer can ask for medical examination of the accused so that there won't be any delay. Earlier what used to happen, like suppose that there is a person who is accused of a crime. So only the medical examination will be conducted only when the orders are from the SI level or above. That a sub inspector or above level inspector or above level officer, if they ask for medical examination, only then it can be done. And then SI used to be like outside the police station or they were on different other works. So medical examination used to get delayed. Now it can be done by any person. Even a constable can ask for a medical examination of any accused person. Okay. So that is one of the things which is going to help in investigation, which is going to help in like having a solid evidence also. So that is also part. Okay. Under CRPC only SI could move such an application, but now it can be done by anyone. So CRPC, this has been now replaced by BNSS. Now at the same time, the medical officer have to give the report within 7 days. That is also a time bound, that they have to submit the report within the 7 days, and the police officer will forward it without any delay. So medical examination report has to be done within the 7 days, and then it has to be immediately forwarded by the police officer to the magistrate. Okay. To the magistrate, it has to be immediately forwarded, so that now there will be lesser delay in the case of any such crime. Okay. So that is also one of the change. One more thing, there is one thing called as police remand. Now this is one thing which has been debated a lot. Earlier there was a provision that under CRPC, the police remand of accused could be sought only during the initial 15 days after arrest. Suppose that a police have arrested someone, so they can have police remand only within 15 days. But now it is changed. Police can ask for remand within 40 days, within the first 40 days, if the offense is punishable with less than 10 years. And within first 60 days, if the offense is punishable for more than 10 years. Okay. So this is one thing, like police can demand the remand even for a longer period of time. Okay. So this is one of the change which has been introduced, that police can ask for the remand of the accused person for a longer period of time. This is one thing where people are saying that now the police will have more power. Police can have more torture of the accused also. So this is one thing which is being said by various people. Yeah. So these are some of the changes which have been introduced under this Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. Changes in the timeline also, changes in the arrest also. One more thing, in the arrest, you generally see in the television or other things that people are handcuffed, like the handcuff is put on the people, but it is not generally allowed. Handcuff is to be done only if there is a chance that the person is going to escape from the custody, or person is a repeat offender, or the person is a huge criminal. Only then this handcuffing is allowed. For normal people, if they are arrested for the first time and if they are complying with the police order, they cannot be handcuffed. Okay. So handcuffing rules have also been relaxed in this limelight of Supreme Court judgment also. Supreme Court has also said that handcuffing cannot be a general part. Handcuffing is exceptional. It can be done only if the person is a repeat offender, or the person may try to escape from the police. Okay. So that is some change which has been introduced in the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. Yes, the Adhyan batch is scheduled for 8:30 today. I am preparing for 26. If I buy that batch, then should I have read newspaper? See, first of thing, Adhyan batch is going to be conducted on Monday and Friday for the English medium students. For newspapers, I have said both to English students as well as Hindi students, you do have to read newspapers. Why are you trying to avoid reading the newspaper? Of course, I am teaching you the current affairs, but at the same time, I will say you at least give 15 minutes of reading the current affairs, because you will learn some words. You will learn the art of writing something. So do not skip the newspapers. Do read the newspapers. Okay. Batch, there is only one class, current affairs. Okay. Princey, see, the thing is, in the batch, your current affairs of 1 week is going to be covered. In the Adhyan batch, the current affairs from January up to mains 2025, it is going to be covered. So in the batches, of course, you will have the weekly current affairs, but in this, we will have current affairs from the month of January 24 till mains 2025. So it is going to be more than that. Okay. Okay. So I hope that questions are clear now. Are you sure question is also clear? Nidhi, you can ask your question. Ayush, it totally depends on you. This is a daily current affair thing. If you have time, you can watch it. This is a daily current affairs. I will try to tell you some new things daily. Yeah. I'm a student of UPSC English medium batch and I have watched all your current classes. Okay, Sonu, I hope it has helped you. Those current affair classes, I hope it has helped you also. Ayush, it totally depends on you. Okay. If we join the current affair class from today, then we can appear from 2025 last time UPSC. Yes, Nidhi, this current affair class, like the Adhyan batch, it is going to cover the current affairs from January 24 till mains 2025. So it will cover all the things which are required for 24 prelims as well as 25 prelims as well as 25 mains. So it will start from January 2024 to up to like this August of 2025. So it is going to cover all these current affairs. Yeah. I look like a sky. Yes, Anju, it is going to help you also. Thank you, Ayush. Okay, Nidhi, so you can go with English batch also. In the English batch, it will be in complete English. I hope you can understand that easily. I think you understand English quite easily, Nidhi. So you can go with English batch also. Okay, so thank you very much. Let's meet tomorrow and try to write that answer. Try to write that answer of Russia and India relation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayush, and thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Have a good day, good evening, and let's meet tomorrow.